All right, let's talk more about the NFL Scouting Combine out of Indianapolis. Pleasure to be joined. Look at the roundtable we got. Aaron Wilson, click2houston.com. Jonathan Alexander from the Chronicle. Landry Locker, Sports Radio 610. Guys, thanks for the time. Hey, the Combine is about over. It's been a busy week in Indianapolis. Let's start with what we heard from the Texans brass that made the trip there in Indianapolis. They all spoke, Caserio and D'Amico Ryans. What were y'all's big takeaways from their talk?
I mean, first of all, they need to get a quarterback, and they said this is probably the first time when you heard it. They're going to get 2 quarterbacks in the offseason.
Yeah.
This is a big deal. They didn't even mention Davis Mills' name, which I thought was really interesting. But from there, we could tell that they're going to move on, and they know they need to upgrade, and that's the only way that they're going to have some successes if they find that upgrade. And one's going to be either in free agency in the draft or both in the draft, so we'll see.
It's lying season, but it seems like Nick Caserio's a fan of D'Amico. He kind of glows when he talks about D'Amico, so you have that. It's been interesting the stuff they've said about the quarterback. They really haven't tipped their hand. You mentioned they won't mention Davis Mills by name, but they talked about fitting the system around the quarterback, which had a lot of people's imagination going wild instead of the system fitting around that. And of course, we had a little bit of Garoppolo praise from D'Amico Ryans, which made us wonder, could they not draft a quarterback? Could that happen? Is it possible? But they're lying. They're participating in lying season, but they're giving us a little bit more than they used to, maybe.
Yeah, you feel like it was a more open Nick Caserio than we've seen in the past. It seems like he's pretty loose there in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I think he's a happier Nick Caserio. Yeah. He's got the coach that he wants. I think that now that they've got some collaboration going, so far I'm hearing not just publicly but privately they're hitting it off behind the scenes, and they're having a good mesh. And I think that leads to hopefully a better outcome. They need to. They've got to get this team improved. This roster's got to be upgraded.
Obviously, most of the conversations surrounding the Texans have been the number 2 overall pick, but I thought it was interesting. Nick Caserio also mentioned that he wasn't afraid to trade up from number 12 if he likes a player moving up or down in the draft.
All right, Landry, you talked about it. You hit on it. It's lying season right now. Day 1 last week in Indy, news came out nationally that, hey, Chicago may be willing to make that trade and get rid of that number 1 pick and move it around. Well, are they just posturing right now? What do you think?
I think everyone's posturing. Everyone's lying. Chicago feels good because they kind of have control of the draft. They have a quarterback I think they like enough to keep going. So you have them lying. You have Arizona saying they're open for business. You have the Texans. Who knows what's going to happen? Chancellor mentioned trading up at 12. Like, there's just a lot. There's a lot going on, and it's unfortunate that the Texans aren't in control of the draft. But that's the world we're living in.
All right, we were waiting all week after we heard from Caserio and D'Amico Ryans. Everybody's waiting to see the quarterback, waiting to see the measurements of Bryce Young. You stayed out there a couple more days as well. You were there as well. We finally got the measurements. And did it shock anybody? We know the guy's not very big here.
No, it didn't surprise anyone because he's just a diminutive guy. You look at him and he's the same height as Kyler Murray. He weighed 204 pounds. He looked like he'd been eating a lot to weigh the 204. I don't know if that's his natural weight. I think
weight, right?
Yeah, playing weight I bet is somewhere in the 190s. But I would say that, he showed, just kind of looking at him, he looks sturdier than you like a Devontae Smith, for example.
All right, in the group here, are you guys very concerned about the lack of size of Bryce Young? Is that being overhyped? What do y'all think? Is that a big deal or not?
I don't think it's overhyped. I'd be concerned as well. I mean, the thing about Bryce Young is he can do a lot of things that a lot of quarterbacks can't do. And a lot of people say, like, if he was C.J. Stroud's side, if he was Trevor Lawrence's side, he'd be amazing. But you have to be concerned about the size because 194 pounds, that's what he played at Alabama. You playing in the NFL, you take some hits, and you wonder about, can he stay healthy? He wasn't healthy last year at Alabama. So, what makes you think he'd be able to stay healthy consistently? That'd be a major concern. But the trace and what he's able to do on the football field often can outweigh, those. So he's definitely worth taking a chance on, but it's definitely a concern.
I think it's a concern, but I don't think it's as concerning as the concerns I have about the other guys. I'm more concerned about 53% completion percentage. I'm more concerned about the inability to lead a team at a high level over the course of a season, like Will Levis or Richardson. So there's concerns, but it just almost feels like everything that you've seen from Bryce Young from middle school to now, all he's done is perform at a high level, no matter what, whether he had inferior Alabama talent around him last year or not. Like, all he's done is perform, and it almost seems like we try to talk ourselves into other guys by maximizing what shouldn't matter as much as like 53% completion and, you know, the inability to lead a squad over the course of a year.
And it's important to note what he was doing and the level of success he was having was in the SEC, going against guys who defenders that, have the potential to play at the next level in the NFL, and he looks certainly fine to me. Now, of course, he did get injured, and you mentioned he was kind of Kyler Murray size, and we know Kyler Murray has had some injuries as well. So injuries are something to be concerned about, but to me, when I look at the tape, when I look at the film, I see a special guy, and as far as I'm concerned, who should be in a Texans uniform next season.
How about the confidence that Will Levis showed at the podium there? That guy was like, why do you want to go out there and put on your skills? Because I got a cannon. Show off the cannon.
I call Will Levis Gosh Allen. Like, everybody's trying to compare him to Josh Allen. I call him Gosh Allen. That's what I call Will Levis. Oh my gosh, where was that ball going? Where was that? Where was he throwing that?
Texans, is it lockdown? They've got to get a quarterback with this pick, or you see the linebacker Will Anderson out of Alabama as well, getting a lot of attention. Some people say he can go the number 1 overall to Chicago. Do they have to go quarterback with what's available out there?
Brady, I think it's time to get a quarterback. They can't wait any longer. People have said
from this group.
Yeah, from this group. Don't wait for Caleb Williams next year. Yeah. I mean, how many games would you have to lose to be in position for that? I don't think this franchise can take that. I think they've got to become relevant right now. Get a quarterback, any of these guys, but preferably Bryce Young. And I think some of these other guys, they take longer. CJ Stroud, does he adjust? Does he process fast enough? Anthony Richardson, outstanding athlete. You mentioned the completion percentage. I know his receivers dropped a lot of passes, but that's a concern. And I think with Levis, personality, I wonder about that. He's a little grating to some that have met with him.
Mayo and coffee too. Like, come on, man. Like, I don't want to encourage that.
I say go all in for Bryce Young. Do what you have to do to get him. And the Bears are legitimately serious. They are selling the pick. They want out of the pick. They want to get more players. They don't think that they're one player away. And they're all in on Justin Fields. I don't think they'll trade Fields, and they won't replace him. So he's the guy.
So if somebody jumps them, they make the trade, somebody jumps, the Texans are in trouble, huh?
And that's the beauty of it, is there's a chance that all of us are going to be wrong, no matter what our opinion is, because you go back to Andrew Luck, just look at quarterbacks that have been drafted in the top 5. You have Blake Bortles, you have Winston, Mariota, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, and Trevor Lawrence are the only ones you feel great about. But outside of that, Goff, Wentz, I think you could say 3 out of the 14 that have been drafted in the top 5 since Luck and RG3, we've been wrong about, and it's really, really hard. So that they've made idiots of us all. So that's the beauty. We could say they need one, and we could end up like the Jets, where, hey, Zach Wilson didn't get Trevor Lawrence, but you got the next best thing, and then boom, we're right back here having this conversation again. That's the beauty of it.
Landry and Jonathan, I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on the guy that everybody was talking about, Anthony Richardson. Obviously, he killed the combine. You were missing on Twitter. You hope that somebody else picks him so that the Texans don't have to make that decision.
Oh yeah, I'll send a limo for Indianapolis to pick him up. Like, honestly, look, I don't want to. I'm not disrespecting him. Like, the athleticism as a whole, just the fact we're even having a conversation about him in the first round, that's insane. But I just think that in this situation, we're talking about a broad jump, we're talking about a vertical, we're talking about 40 and all this type of stuff. I think he should have gone back to school, because I think that 1 year of development of leading a team and being a big man on campus, I think you benefit from that. I keep hearing Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts doesn't go back to Oklahoma or go to Oklahoma with Lincoln Riley. I don't think Jalen Hurts ends up doing what he's doing.
He would probably tell you the same thing as well.
I'm sure he would. And Joe Burrow going to LSU. Even Josh Allen, we keep hearing about Josh Allen. Josh Allen could have come out earlier at Wyoming. He actually got anxiety over it. He went back. It wasn't a great year, but he said it made him more better because all eyes were on him.
One extra year. Yep.
And I don't blame anyone for going and getting their money and going and doing it. I just think, like, for Anthony Richardson, he's that guy that could have really benefited from 1 more year.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, Anthony Richardson, the upside is crazy. I was talking to multiple scouts who said they take a chance on him, but not necessarily at number 2. He's not so much a safe pick, right? He's raw talent, has a lot of physical abilities, been compared to Cam Newton, but he hasn't really played at the high level for such as long time as the other quarterbacks like CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, and those guys have been a little bit more accurate. His stats would bother me a little bit too. He wasn't the best quarterback in the SEC. So while he could be great, he also could be bad. You never know. And CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, to me, are more safer picks and guys you got to go with, because most people will tell you those guys will be good NFL quarterbacks.
All right, Stroud, Richardson, of course, worked out. Levis did too, but Bryce Young, we'll have to wait till pro day sometime in March, I believe, there at Alabama. We'll get to see him in action again. But he's a winner. He's a proven winner. Lacks the size, but all signs point to him going early, hopefully to the Texans. We'll see if that's the direction they go. Hey, good conversation, guys. A lot of time to go until the NFL draft. Landry Locker, Sports Radio 610. Jonathan Alexander from the Chronicle. Aaron Wilson, click2houston.com. Thanks for the time, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.